Hello Year 7 and welcome along to our next step in our Python programming journey. So already we have learnt about the print command. So there you've got an example, it says print hello. We've learnt about variables, which is a way to store a value linked with a name. And we've learnt about lists, which is a way of storing multiple values in one place. Today we are going to look to combine all of those skills together in one program. So here's the plan. We are going to make a program that focuses mainly on lists but does use the other two elements that we've learnt, print and variables. So our program should, by the end of today, make a variable, print the variable, make an original list, print that list, add an item to that list and print the list again. And then we've also got a challenge, which is to remove an item from the list and reprint it, and to sort the list into alphabetical order. So I'm going to show you most of those now. So let's go on to our Python interpreter. So I'm going to use an online Python interpreter. Here we go. So I'm going to delete the code that's already there. Let's start programming. So the first thing I said we'd do is we would make a variable and print that variable. So let's do that first. So my program is going to be all about cakes. So we're going to do some cake programming. So first thing I want to do is make a variable called cake. So my favorite is going to be the name of my variable. My favorite cake is, it's difficult. It seems to change day by day, but let's say it's a marble cake, because I do like a good marble cake. So marble is my favorite cake in this variable. Then I want to print that variable. So I write print, all lowercase, remember, and when I write out the name of my variable, I've got to write it exactly the same. So I give it a capital F. It's got to keep having a capital F. Favorite. Okay, and it's a good idea when you're building programs to keep testing them as you go. So I'm going to run, and we can see that it prints marble, which is the name, which is the value of my variable. Sorry. Okay. Now we're going to make a list linked to that variable. So I'm going to make a list of just cakes. So cakes equals, and remember a list has got square brackets. So we're going to put square bracket. We're going to put some lists, some cakes into this list. So good old classic sponge cake. Remember each item's got speech marks around it. And then each item's got a comma in between. So we've got sponge. We'll go for a little bit of angel. What else can we have? What other kind of cakes might we have? Is a muffin a cake? I'm going to include a muffin. Oh, I'm going to go and get rid of the capital A because I don't think I need it. Okay, so there's a 3-item list. I could add more, but for now that will do because I'm actually going to add to this list later. So we've got sponge, angel, muffin, and let's print that list. So print, and the name of my list was cakes. You can see I often capitalize my object names. You don't have to. You can. You cannot. It's entirely up to you. Let's run that. So I've got my variable print and I've got my list to print. Brilliant. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my variable into the list. So this is using a command which is called append. So append is a posh word for add. So what we do is we say we want the name of the list. So not cakes, but cakes dot append. So that's that word that means add. Cakes dot append. So to the list called cakes, I want to add. And then I'm going to tell it what I want to add. I want it to add the variable favorites. So again, I'm capitalizing because it's capital here. I'm adding favorite, and then let's print. Cakes in brackets. Forgot my capital. And run, and now you can see that actually it's added marble at the end. So it's appended the value of favourite there. It's added the value of favourite at the end of my list. Brilliant. But what if I want to know what my list of cakes is in alphabetical order? Well, there's a way to do that as well. So to do that, we're going to put cakes.sort bracket, and then we can print cakes again. And something's gone wrong. Was it? Now, why is marble first? Is marble first because it's got a capital M? Perhaps. Let's uncapitalize it and try and run that again, guys. Let's see if that makes a difference. It does. Okay, so the capitalization made it go front of my list. So that's why it's really careful. I need to be careful when I capitalize things and keep to a consistent rule. But here you can see it's ordered my list into alphabetical order. Okay, we could also add to this list. So we could take away from this list. There are different ways to sort. But for now, to start off with, that's what I need to aim for. And then we can look at how we can adjust it once we've got to this stage. Okay, so let's just pop back to our success criteria. So think about a flowchart for our diagram. Like you've just seen me do, we're going to make a list, print the list, add an item to the list, and then print the list again. But you can see I added some extra steps in there because I added a variable in. I use that variable to add to my list. I then ordered that list with the variable included. So there's a few extra steps, but that's the basic structure, is making the list, printing the list, adjusting the list, print the list. So every time you do something to the list, just make sure that you then print it again so you can see that change. Okay, so bronze is to make a list which contains at least 4 values. Silver is print the list, and I'm going to add in here, I'm going to actually add in make a variable and add it to the list. That's an important one. Add an item to your list and print it the second time. Remove an item from a list and print it the third time. And let's add in sort your list as well. Okay, so those are your success criteria. Best of luck, guys, and I'd love for you to submit, and I'll see you again soon.